We've gotten to this point, eh? We are legitimately making videos about the lineups multiple hours before the games begin. Because this series has gotten nasty. Everybody on social media freaking out about it, targeting the other fans about it. This is a really big deal. And so, heading into Game 5, Vancouver versus Edmonton. I did wake up a little bit late, so there's my apology there as to why this video is coming out late. This is going to be a slobber knocker. Now, I will say, they were talking about this on Sportsnet 650 yesterday. I was out on a drive, and I was listening to Satir Sean. They were asking the question on whether or not this Game 5 is a quote-unquote must-win game for Vancouver. And they were arguing that it wasn't. Like, I can understand that, honestly. Like, the way they phrased it, I think it was an old quote from somebody else that it's not a must-win, but it's one that you would really like to have. Because circumstantially, yes, you could say that the Game 4 for Edmonton was a must-win. You don't want to go down 3-1. You don't want to be forced to win 3 in a row, because the likelihood of winning 3, that's a lot. But if you're Vancouver heading into Game 5, if you end up losing this one, honestly, like, circumstantially, when you think about where the team is and the fact that they're even here in the first place and the expectations, it's kind of, house money at this point. If the Canucks end up losing in 6, the entire series, they lose 4-2, this would be a pretty good season. It's just, you acknowledge that towards the end there are many guys on the team who have not pulled their weight. And so that is where the frustration settles in, where you have guys like Elias Pettersson that are really not showing up, where you have videos of him going out there and, going on all fours when he misses a shot, or he's always looking skywards, or the video interview yesterday where he looked just completely out of it. I mean, I get it, we're all frustrated with Pettersson, but you got to acknowledge that he himself is also frustrated with himself too. Like, I don't know if he knows what's going on at this point in the season, but with this in mind, we do have ourselves some lineup changes that will hope to ignite and spark everything one more time. And it's a blender. We'll go out there, talk about the new lines, but I will say, before we do that, we're going to go out there and talk about the Oilers lines as well. Because there was this tweet made by Daniel Nugent-Bowman. Take a look at this. The Oilers lines and pairings at morning skate for Game 5. First line, you've got Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, McDavid, Hyman. Okay, cool. Second line, Warren Foegele, Ryan McLeod, and Corey Perry. Third line, you've got Matthias Janmark, Ryan, and Brown. And then on the fourth line, you have Dylan Holloway, Adam Henrique, and Carrick. D pairings are rotating. Pickard and Skinner, Draisaitl, Ekholm, and Kane are not on the ice. Based on this, though, the lineup should be exactly the same for Edmonton as Game 4. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. Before Game 4, no Draisaitl, no Kane, so they ended up going with a lineup that iced those guys, and, they did pretty well. Draisaitl continuously gets points against the Vancouver Canucks, so they are not changing a thing, which they shouldn't be, because they played very well. The Canucks were bad in that game, but the Oilers are fine. So we'll see how Vancouver responds, and we'll use this tweet by Brendan Batchelor to illustrate where exactly the team is going. Morning skate Vancouver Canucks lines. Höglander with Lindholm and Pettersson. Okay, so they're moving Petey to the wing, and they're bringing Höglander back into the lineup. Lindholm, who has been so good all playoff long, is going to be the center. So it's an all-Swedish line. We did see this trio unite for a little bit after Lindholm's initial acquisition by the Vancouver Canucks. And look, you gotta remember, during the first opening parts of Lindholm's time in the Canucks locker room, he actually was pretty good. He did score 2 goals in his first game, although both of those are on the power play. But him with Höglander and Pettersson, hopefully that's enough to inspire more offensive productivity, because Lindholm has been an absolute dog. He's been so good with his back-checking and defensive responsibility. If you put Petey on the wing, it limits the amount of responsibility he has, so maybe that allows him more space, who really knows. Second line, you've got Suter, Miller, Besser. Okay, that's normal. We've seen that a bunch before. Third line, Joshua, Blueger, Garland. Okay, great. So Joshua and Garland were so good throughout the regular season with Teddy Blueger. They were even better, you could say, with Elias Lindholm, but diversifying some of the talent here, moving Lindholm to play with PD on the wing and having Blueger fill in as that third line center spot. This is pretty much going back to the roots here. They're going with an old throwback lineup. And then on the fourth line, you've got PDG, Oman, and Podkolzin. So that means no Mikheyev, no Lafferty, no Linus Carlsson. Now, when it comes to the big two, Mikheyev and Lafferty, each being taken out of the lineup here, honestly, yeah, it's about time. These guys were doing nothing the entire time they were in the lineup. Like, say what you want about Elias Pettersson having his own struggles, which I definitely don't disagree with, but you could not discredit that part of the Elias Pettersson struggle conversation had to be formed because of the people he's playing with. He's playing with Mikheyev, he's playing with Lafferty. These guys can't do anything. Like, there was a time at the beginning of the year where Lafferty would bulldoze down the ice with a whole bunch of forecheckers on him. He would get by them and then he'd snipe it by the goalie. Like, he had really good goals earlier on in the year, but as the season went on and as the playoffs have started, his effectiveness has been reduced to almost nothing. Mikheyev, he didn't even have those really nice goal moments. He doesn't score, ever. The guy is not able to shoot the puck in an area that's not in the middle. So, taking him out, putting PDG back in, who is returned from Vancouver. He is now a dad, so big congratulations to Phil DiGiuseppe. Hopefully he gets that dad strength. Niels Ullmann in the lineup, he honestly played pretty well. Linus Carlsson, I felt if they wanted to keep him in, he was alright enough to do that too. But putting Podkolzin in and giving the dog, the Russian bulldog, a moment in the spotlight here, that is something I like to see as well. So, fourth line, PDG, Oman, Podkolzin, lots of guys that I like. I think this will be very good for the Vancouver Canucks. Just get that energy line out there. Not to mention the penalty kill responsibilities out of Oman and PDG. They're both fairly good at that. So, we'll see how exactly the forwards go out there and do their thing. And then on defense, you've got Hughes, Hronek, Susi Meyer, Zadorov, Cole, Friedman, Juleson. So, nothing changed there. Sorry, Noah Juleson. You're out, bud. Like, I was so pissed off with the Ryan Nugent-Hopkins goal from game number 4, where Noah Juleson stepped up and he wanted to chase the hit. He got Ekholm good, but it left a gaping wide open hole on the defensive structure, which allowed that 2-on-1. Just a terrible play. Like, Juleson, buddy, we get it, you can hit guys, but you don't have to chase it. You don't chase guys. You don't go into the neutral zone when you're on the back check. Like, what are you doing? So, he's not playing. Susi's back. Hopefully the defensive structure is tightened down. Hopefully the mistakes are kept to a minimum here, especially on the penalty side of things, because, yeah, you don't want to get that McDavid-Draisaitl duo going, creating space in the middle and opening up one-timer options. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Vancouver Canucks changing things up and going off with some new lines. If this works, if the Canucks win today's game, they should keep the lines the same for game number 6, but if these lines don't work, if Pettersson still sucks, if Pettersson is not able to get going with Lindholm and Höglander, please, try to change things up sometime throughout the third period. Please get that Lotto line back together for a consistent amount of time. Hopefully Miller shows up. Hopefully Hughes is able to continuously do what he has been doing. But, yeah, no, this is all coming from the Vancouver Canucks perspective because I want them to take that 3-2 series lead. Thoughts in the comment section below about Vancouver versus Edmonton. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.